Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Seneca County Board of Commissioner meeting. Today's Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. This is our regular board session. We begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, bow our heads. Dear God, we ask that you look over our meeting today. As elected officials, we are here to listen and make decisions for the betterment of our community. We love our community, and we ask that you bless our troops and the students that are traveling to and from school, families. Amen. Amen. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Here.
Commissioner Schuff?
Here.
Commissioner Franker?
Here. All right, so at this time, we'll accept a motion to approve the minutes of our digital audio recording. Previous board session last Thursday, November 30th.
So moved. Second.
First and second, roll call.
Commissioner Franker?
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes. Thank you. So on the agenda today, we have our GEM, the Seneca County Museum, several representatives from there. Teresa Sullivan will come on up. We'll have you come up if you don't mind. Yes, you can introduce your guests.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have them come up. John Huss, come on up. And Amber Clayson, come on up. Thank you for coming. Just as a backdrop, I would like to have a brief introduction before you start. The county commissioners, in putting together our capital plan, the museum has always been part of that. And we solicited, we spent a little bit of money for architectural services, and when the estimates came back, we were close to $700,000, right, John? Mm-hmm. And we love the museum, but at $700,000, that entire project did not get elevated above the ag building and EMS and some of our other special projects. But we did agree to move forward with the installation of new electrical panels and electrical service,
Yes.
right, John? And that went smooth.
There's.
And in doing so, the three of you had an opportunity to get into every nook and cranny of the building, have some discussions, and you are now able. We've paid for the electrical service, and now you're able to present to us today a revised number and plan, right, to bring accomplish the goals we want at the museum. And then the second part of this, you have a surprise for us. That we'll wait till that happens. So did I say that okay?
No, that's
Or
fine.
does that make sense, John, to all of you? Okay, you now have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate the opportunity to address you three gentlemen and kind of show our revision and our due diligence. Obviously, we want to be good stewards of the museum, but we also want to be fiscally responsible with regard to the county. So we went back and John and I kind of looked at the museum and said, okay, obviously that proposal was way too high. It was kind of an ideal, the first one, this is the ideal situation, and that was above ideal. So we were like, what can we do to be more responsible, but to achieve close to those benefits? So it is heated, the museum is heated with radiators. They do provide sufficient heat. Our biggest source of issue is the cooling and humidification. So we went back, we contacted Amber, RCM, and met with her and Chad, and under kind of John's leadership, put together what we really needed, and then they submitted the proposal that you see before you. So, John, would you like anything to add to
Good.
that?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've engaged RCM,
Yes.
so we're familiar with RCM, we just have a different face this time, representing your firm,
A
right?
few different faces you get now and then,
Amber?
yeah.
So.
And they were actually very, I will say, they were very grateful, I am very grateful for them, for their cooperation in going back to the drawing board and saying, okay, let's see what we can do with
So the
this.
public understands RCM out of Finley. Michael works with RCM and he's our EMS contact, and Amber has the museum project. Fair statement?
Yep.
So do you want to take us through this? Right, because I know what the bottom line number is, but do you want to kind of explain what you would like to do?
Amber,
Okay, I can give you the view from 10,000 feet because
Yes.
I am the architect and we are using MDA Engineering. Chad Goshi over in New Regal is doing the design. So we talked to them about, okay, thank you very much for the big number, because if we were, a museum someplace else and we could do all those things, we understand what we need. But basically, we don't want people, and I guess it does happen in the summer, if you go upstairs, it's very uncomfortable. And they have some moments of too much heat and things going on. So we really just needed to temper those extremes. So that's what we told Chad. And they, so they kind of backed off. And we're just providing units, and they'll sit on the roof of the newer addition. And we're going to try to always feed from the attic to keep the historical nature of the actual rooms being used. And it'll just take the heat down and a little bit of humidity control. So, but the units are nice. If you ever wanted to add some of the features we are not doing right now, you could do that to those units. So you're not sacrificing anything, you're just kind of doing it in steps if you wanted to.
So we need heat and air, we need humidity control, and especially on the third floor, right, John? Air. and humidity
Air is what
huge.
we're working
This is
toward.
more air because we can keep the same radiators and, right?
And right now, we're only really addressing the second and third floor, because the first floor with what we have, and we keep, the shades drawn and everything, it's not as much of an issue as obviously second and third, because heat rises.
Yeah, these old
John,
houses
are
were made.
you aware of this?
not have air
Everything we're
conditioning.
talking
I've
about?
not seen the final plan yet. That's fine.
Okay. So the number, if we add the 140 to 50, what's the total number? And then add a little bit
Yeah,
to it,
there's,
will you?
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah,
I was still pulling it up.
because we don't need to get into details in this meeting. This project has been discussed and will be included in our capital budget request with the state of Ohio. In a 250 kind of a range, 250,000 range, so I believe all in, we should be pretty good there, right? And we
correct.
have the ability to tweak that number, right, Commissioner? Yes. So in our head, because we had a meeting, we've been talking about this, and first time through, we didn't have, museum wasn't on the list. Then we went back, then after this concept, we just threw it out there, waiting for today to kind of verify it. So, go ahead.
200 is good. They have 140,000 for the HVAC, so that's the cooling and a little bit of humidity control, just from the cooling on the second and third floor. And then another 50 for the electrical to make that work. And then we'd like to tag on the 10, because we have some for architectural work, because there'll be some bulkheads, you don't want to see that kind of depth. So you were right at the
So
200.
it's 200.
As an estimate, this is a
Yeah.
feasibility study done by engineers and
Yeah,
architects.
so
This
we're
is not
gonna
a.
go, so we'll have John, this is my proposal for, and then we're open for discussion, just so we can go on to the second thing.
Yep.
So we've been working on this project since you got there,
Yes.
okay? And John, you know the building really well, okay? I respect the fact that you guys have spent 3 years going through every corner of the building, and have engaged professional help, okay? And so you've been able to get us down to here. B, this is time for the capital budget in Columbus, and there's also one-time money in Columbus, so this is perfect. It's a capital project that would put that building right where it needs to be. It's our 200th anniversary next year. So all of that, I think this kind of number, you know, we want to move forward. Now, short of signing a PO, is there any more work that needs to be done? Can we pause where you're at till we can see how we do with the grant and that kind of thing? And then if we're awarded the grant, we flip the switch. If we're not awarded the grant, but we can still revisit it. So is there anything else you need to do to get ready for the improvements that we're talking about?
For
You
just the
say go.
MEP, or is he talking about the
No,
others?
for,
What we're talking about right now, not
Yeah.
the new build part. No, if we gave you the go-ahead, then you would really get into the architectural piece and all that. And
Well, I think there's two things you could do next. Like with the
Yeah.
electrical work, you did not engage the engineers or us. You just went out and kind of got that done. So that is one thing you could do, or you could hire RCM and MDA to take this to a bid package kind of level, in which case we would put a fee together for those design services.
Okay, let's cross that bridge when we get there. You guys good with that? You want to add anything? Barb?
I just wanted to say, every time you go to the museum, I mean, you guys are constantly working on something, improving a room, like, you guys don't let up. You've been very tenacious in a good way as far as bringing things up to where they needed to be for a long time. And it makes my heart happy, because I remember reading in the paper years and years ago where the commissioners were talking about possibly selling the museum or selling some of the contents, and just where it was, or those talks then, and where we're at now and where we're heading. Good job.
John, any comments on this issue? We good?
Go.
Moving ahead, yeah,
Just
you're ready to go.
Just go.
I think, this is definitely on our radar, and we're talking about it, okay? So, keep your fingers crossed, because we have a lot of moving parts going on, so thank you. Next, exciting news.
the exciting news. John and I have been putting our heads together. One of the big issues at the museum is storage space and lack thereof. To help keep the museum organized in its proper environment as a museum. And we are constantly getting people who would like to bring things in for donations. We were approached, at this point it's anonymous donor, who would like to leave a large collection to the museum. The Barnes-Deinzer Foundation, I approached them and shared it. They are very receptive to receiving it. However, we don't have the space for that either, and we would like to create that space. And I think it would be wonderful for the county. And there's other items in the museum that I think could be, well, we think could be housed better. And so we would like to propose an addition to the museum, which would provide storage space, more exhibit space, and also one of the other big issues is the restroom facilities at the museum. We have one restroom that's right off the main conference room, and so that becomes kind of so we would have proper restroom facilities in there as well. So we've, with John's help, we've really looked at what we need, and we kind of put that plan together, and we went to Amber for assistance on that, and they put together a proposal which would move forward with a feasibility study, and you have that in front of you. And request would be that the county would pay for the feasibility study, and then the Barnes-Deinzer Seneca County Museum Foundation would raise the money for the new facility, the addition.
Yeah, you would have a fundraiser,
Correct.
and Great.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on your end?
No, I think that,
I mean, we do have- I do have-
Or how would you connect it?
Yeah.
Yes, here
Good
is
question,
a,
Dennis.
this is the initial rendering and the space, I'm sorry, I only have one copy, if you just kind of look at it.
So, John, you could explain it,
Yes.
you know, as you're walking up to the, let's say you're walking around the corner.
You walk
to
around the
Fort
corner to
Ballroom.
the Fort Ballroom.
Yeah.
So
And then-
there's about a 20-foot lawn that goes down the length of the Fort
To the other
Ballroom.
side.
We're gonna fill up as much of that space as we can. And then bring it around the back of the building and fill up the yard back there. So we're basically going to extend the Fort Ballroom out as far as we can go with it.
And we'd also like to create better handicap accessibility within the museum. We're thinking of putting a chairlift in there so that we could at least allow people first floor access. Second and third floor is probably not a possibility, but at least first floor access would be nice. So that's another thing that we would like to add in there.
So the
The fire truck.
increased exhibit space.
That's a kind of key component.
And one of the other key components is in the carriage house. We have the Adriatic, which was the steam pumper.
I wanted you to bring that up.
Okay, I wasn't sure. It is quite a valuable piece of equipment. It is in the carriage house right now, along with other fire equipment. So in that proposal, there would be where the garages behind the Fort Ballroom are now, those would be redone. One end would be from the exterior, look like a fire station. And it would house all the fire equipment and the fire display. And then the carriage house, because it's really kind of crowded in there, we would be able to use that for the horse-drawn items that we have in there and be able to display those in better.
It's like a big closet now,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, basically. So we really maximize our exhibit space by adding that on, as well as the much-needed storage space.
I think just to kind of pull this together in summary, so we have an existing museum that the citizens of Seneca County own, okay? And before we would add on to that museum, we want to take care of what we got. And so this $200,000, $250,000 would kind of complete a much-needed upgrade. There's still plenty of other things. Private foundations, citizens, fundraising, we're talking at least, what kind of number are we talking, John? Just do a guesstimate.
We haven't done that yet.
I mean, it's a
I haven't drawn the
$500,000
building
to
yet.
I mean, how many square feet is it, you know? This could be $1 million.
There's a figure.
It's a big number.
It's a big number,
Yeah.
because there will probably be brick to look like a firehouse.
Yeah.
About 2,100 square feet of addition.
All right,
So roughly, what's that kind of
So
construction?
it's a $500,000 at least, 600, 700,
I know.
right?
I
This day and
think
age,
John
I don't know.
initially threw out like 700.
Yeah, so this would be, so private citizens, foundations would work hard, and you have some donors in lined up, and I think it would just be awesome, really, to kind of properly display and keep.
And we've kind of, not to interrupt, but we, as the foundation and myself, from the onset, we went in, the first year we addressed the exterior of the house proper and had all of that tuck pointed, had the chimneys capped. Then last year we did the carriage house. There was quite extensive foundation damage to the carriage house. I mean, in one area, if you would have chipped the brick away, you could have made a little hole through the wall. So all that's been addressed, it's been repainted. And right now we're in the midst of adding a medical room. It was a back portion, just kind of like a spare room that was not heated or had climate control.
There's somebody else.
Yeah, so we've enlisted a carpenter to do that, so that's getting, the outside walls are getting framed, insulated, drywalled. The foundation is paying to put a mini split in there, so that we have better heating and AC in the back of that, which will also help with that kitchen room in the back. So, you know, we just feel that that's kind of like the next step, so.
So basically, you're asking us for $8,900 to begin a feasibility study, take John's sketch on paper.
Yes.
Pretty good job there, John. Turn it over to an architect and get something that you could have to bid and move forward with. And that would be the commissioner contribution to this project, along with, here's the land and that kind of thing. John, do you see any issues with going back around there?
It's a good place to start.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the feasibility study will include studying all that access. Like we talked about, we can do it exactly as John drew it, but we could also take a pause, play, and should the entry be on the other side, make sure it's all accessible, which it is not, so everyone can see this fire apparatus and everything, these gorgeous
We have
things
the
that-
wall there. We have a few other things that are
Yeah.
kind of, we can add that into along the way.
And in the end, there'd be this beautiful image to help raise money.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it included a 3D. modeling
3D
of it.
model.
Am I right?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be great for our bicentennial if you could have a big rendering in there and a
Yes.
fundraising brochure and that kind of thing, you know. So I'm good with this. We'll see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, and just a follow-up on the initial, the 250,000 we're looking
Yeah.
at. Just so you know, we got a little process to go through that. It has to be through the
Right.
House now, Senate, so
Right.
it's not gonna be a January, but I mean, it's gonna
Right.
be a summertime probably before we know
We'll know
for
by
sure on
summer.
that. Yeah, well, that's gonna be on that part of it, but, no, I'm supportive of, you know, the initial rendering to start the process on that, for the $8,900 to, kind of proceed with that, so we get a plan in place, so.
Support it as well.
Good. And I
Now,
think-
the next question, Barb, do we have 8,900 we can, you know, dish up with, somewhere along the line that?
I'll find it.
Okay, very good, very good.
Thank you.
I think, John, if you could share with John a little bit, there might be an opportunity to sneak a little electrical in right along the way where needed. Electrical, as spring comes along and it's gonna be hot and bicentennial and all that, I don't know. But if there's a little bit in there we could do, we could talk to Barb about that.
There will always be the need for electrical in that building.
Yeah. So we just keep chipping, yeah, for safety and. Okay, so we're good to go here. Thank you. And just thank you for,
Yeah,
All
spent a lot of
the-
time there and hours and hours, and it's fantastic, that
we,
is,
so we're clear here. We want to do what you described as far as upgrading the museum, okay? Our position is we're going to vet it through our grant process. Because that's what grants are for, and this absolutely fits. This is an ideal project, so we'll see what happens. But it's a process, to your point. Anything else?
I just would like to extend the invitation
Yeah.
to you guys to come visit the museum. It's all decked out for Christmas.
Oh,
So my
good.
volunteers who worked weeks
Let's get
on doing
something-
that.
Let's get something out there, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
so
good, yeah.
it looks
Go through our
amazing.
bicentennial meeting.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
so-
over the top beautiful.
Yeah, we're excited, and so it's open the whole month, Wednesday through Saturday from noon to 5, so people can come enjoy.
make sure you get something out of
So-
it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Thank you.
so much.
Anything else?
Thank you for
We're
giving
good?
us the
Yeah,
time
thank you.
to, we appreciate it.
Keep
Okay,
up the
Very
good work.
you're
much.
free to
Thank
go,
you.
head out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So make sure you find retired school teachers, because we had one in Green Springs that helped with our Sebtown Museum there.
Oh, yeah,
we
absolutely.
have-
Oh, we
Make
we
sure
do.
you-
And can-
Research that out.
one more thing, so the schools now, they used to, the first year we were there, they would come for the walk around town, for the Tiffin City schools for 15 minutes. I met with the teachers and said, you guys, we have so much here to offer, more than 15 minutes. So last year, they came for an hour. Each of third grade classes had their own hour. And they reached out to me this fall and said, can we come in the fall and the spring? So we are now hosting each class for 2 hours a year. So we're so excited. And Heidelberg, I had a professor from Heidelberg that just reached out to me last week. She wants to bring her education students to the museum.
This is great.
So we're just
Fantastic.
more than excited about what's going on there.
Nice job. You guys do it
Very
great.
good,
Thank you.
Yes.
And we cashed your $5 check.
So it's all official now?
official now.
Yay.
We extended their lease, it's $1 a year for 5 years, and Mr. Supants brought a $5 check in. So I think you guys are good
We're
for
good.
5 more
Thank
years.
you.
Yeah, Thank you.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank
for
you,
your
thank
time.
you.
Yes.
For like 3 weeks, I kept bringing up Green Springs. Now they're all over, all you're doing is reading about it.
Yeah.
And some other things that have been works,
Yeah.
which is all good. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Commissioner reports. Somebody start speaking.
I was, start, last Thursday had a.
He beat you to the draw.
I was letting him take it.
All right, last Thursday had a speaking event over at Kiwanis and also an induction into the Kiwanis last Thursday, so.
So what went first?
So,
Did you speak first?
so,
or did you-
yeah, so I guess I don't, yeah, I guess I spoke first and
Did
then
you
got.
swear in,
got
and then you
sworn-
swore
Right,
in?
yeah, that's what,
So you must
Yeah.
not have scared him in
so
your
this scared
speech.
him into, right, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yep, and then, Friday, Tyler and I was over at the Chris Kringle tree lighting in Tiffin. Well, that was a good event. Kind of a little concerned earlier with the rain, but boy, I tell you what a fantastic turnout it was there. I mean, it was amazing how many people showed up. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, fortunate enough, the weather held out
Smooth.
for them, so.
With electric, everything good?
I wasn't there.
Okay.
He was actually-
But you didn't get any calls?
You didn't get any calls. I didn't get any calls either.
I remember that first year, we were all
Wasn't a Clark
nervous.
Griswold moment.
No.
That's exactly what we thought about the first year.
Well, it kind of was that, but we
Yeah.
took care of that on Tuesday.
So it went real smooth.
Yeah, it
I think
actually showed that they had.
Bryce is getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think it was a downtown committee, Weisers
Yeah,
and
nice
Bounds
job.
and everybody went together and did that. And they did a
they're
great
awesome.
job. They was all, I give those husbands a lot of credit. There was 4 or 5 of them hanging on poles and everything all for the last month or so that their
Whatever's
wives
asked, they
were
do.
down there making sure that they was, every minute of their life down there hanging lights and everything through the whole town. So I mean, the town was
pretty
fantastic and yeah, that's wonderful there. Saturday morning, Tyler and I participated in the Kiwanis parade. A good turnout for that, for a lot of folks along the roadway for that. And then we went over to Fostoria for the Sip and Shop. They had a fantastic turnout. I think Renee said they had about 750 people through that whole process there. They had 48, 49 vendors there for many things, and if you didn't eat it, it
I'm
wasn't
tired
there.
listening
So,
to it.
yeah, it was, yeah, quite an event. And then across the street, they had Santa Claus, so we went over to Santa Claus there at the, I think it's
great.
Rave Beauty Salon there. So, yeah, it was good. And then we had, yesterday, worked on the budget update in the morning then, and then we had OSS, so. Yeah.
And then that's from Thursday to
That's from
Tuesday.
Thursday to Tuesday. Think of what it would have been till Thursday.
Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you. On
good.
Thursday, it was over in Fostoria. They had pretty jolly here after the last 4 or 5 days. Thursday, Fostoria had their tree lighting. Friday was Tiffin's tree lighting, which Commissioner Frankert spoke on behalf of our office. Very well attended, as he previously stated. Christmas parade, Saturday. Again, Commissioner Frankert and I attended that. Sunday, they had the Christmas tour, which was put on by the Tiffin Historic Trust. So they had 6 or 7 different historic homes, houses, churches where people were going through and touring. A house that I purchased a little over a year and a half ago, Dr. Wenner's house over here on Perry Street, that was part of the tour. The girl or the tenant upstairs wanted to put it on there, and it's usually out of character for me, but we ended up showing the house anyway. It was very well attended, so thanks to them for putting that on. I guess we probably had between 150 to 200 people through that day. Yesterday we had an OSS meeting. Also met with some representatives from Tiffin University yesterday. President Will Schumacher and I were discussing some ideas with their drone academy, trying to look at some ways to engage the public more, look at more education, outlets and benefits here for the community. So we're working on a few things. That was a very productive meeting. I'll be attending an architectural board review meeting later today. And then I believe, is the lieutenant governor still possibly coming in the area today? And for the last 3 days here this week, we have the County Commissioners Association of Ohio Conference that'll be in Columbus. So the three of us will be down there with our fellow commissioners across from the other 88 counties, sitting through seminars and getting an education on what's coming, what's past, and what we can do to be better. That's all I have.
Good. Yeah, so I'll just add, we completed our capital budget request list, and I think we did a good job with that. So we're in alignment with the State House, the Senate, and FEDC. Renee's doing a nice job getting all the I's dotted, T's crossed on that. Solid waste meeting yesterday was a special meeting, and it was called to order by the three of us, the Seneca County Commissioners. And the purpose of that meeting was for us, Seneca County, to request additional funds that could be passed through down to the Board of Health to help in oversight of the landfill, which is located in our county. The meeting didn't necessarily end the way we wanted it to. The ask is there. I still feel we're making some progress, but more to come on that. So again, we, Seneca County Commissioners, we're 3 of 9, and we're 1 county of 3 as part of the solid waste district that funnels their waste into Fostoria, and we are trying to represent our citizens here in Seneca County by bringing some much-needed revenue back. And this is unusual. It's definitely legal. It's definitely needed, and it's definitely something that should be done. But we have to go through the process. So I'll leave it at that. You guys want to
Yeah, I
add
want to follow up a
anything?
little bit, that Dr. West, Vice President of Health,
Thank
nice
you.
presentation.
He did a nice
on
job.
The air monitoring that they are wanting to do outside landfill. I think he kind of summarized it really good to say it's just kind of a trust and verified, because everything that's positioned there is all monitored and controlled by the by the Wind Waste Innovation. So I think the health department wants to have, essentially some oversight to kind of make sure that compliance and stuff is going to be forthwith on that. So again, Dr. West did a fantastic job with his slides and stuff on that. So.
You're up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say Commissioner Paradiso, President Paradiso did a really good job representing us yesterday and talking. Same with Commissioner Frankert. Just so the public knows, this office and the three of us are very aligned on this issue. It's very important to us, and we just want to make sure that things are being done correctly. There's good oversight. It's important. It's water quality, soil quality, air quality. It's a big issue, and we're trying to get our fellow commissioners to the north of us to come on board with us and kind of see our cause. It's not in their backyard, it's in ours, but we're fighting very hard, and I give these two beside me a lot of credit. So
Yeah, thanks, you too. That's good. We absolutely are all aligned. And one final, as we end this, the public might say, well, why now? Why are the commissioners now going to solid waste and asking for money? So the Board of Health basically came to us and said, can you help us? So the Board of Health has changed, administrators changed, and and Sunny Farms has applied for an expansion. So this is all kind of happening, and they came to us and said, is there any way you can help? And as members of Solid Waste, if everyone remembers, early in the year, we hired the attorney to help advise us and give us legal, environmental advice, and the more momentum all this gets, the more we learn, and we're just truly committed to following through with this. So they came to us asking us for money. It wasn't like we went back to them and said, here's a bunch of money, what can you do with it? So I really think that's kind of what's happening, and now we're all in alignment, and we really want to help.
And I
I
think
mean,
the.
don't you think that's kind
Yes,
of the,
100% agree with that. And I think through time, the solid waste, they've tried to portray themselves more as a recycle, reuse more than an oversight on a landfill.
Yeah.
And I think by hiring our attorney and kind of dive in to see what solid waste districts are, what their main objective is, for Ohio Vice Code, I think that's what we're following the law and that to kind of bring it back to.
Help with oversight.
With the oversight part of it, so.
Yeah.
good. So any old business? No, county administrator report. I did that last time.
That's okay. The only thing that I have is, you should have received a packet in your boxes for CCO conference. It kind of gives you the parking area, the actual schedule, just for your use. That's all I have.
So we will all be headed down tomorrow at some point, different times, and looking forward to that. Any old business?
I do have a little bit, Barb, if we can
Yep.
drop an email maybe to Don, Mallon, and John Spar, with the dumpster being there, it looks like there's not a lot of action going
Oh,
on. If we
yes.
can get it, the building kind of where it needs to be at, cleaned up, and like to maybe go out there after the first year and, see how progress is coming with that. So if we can just have an email, and then also just remind John about the ban that he need to put on govdeals.com, and I don't think it's been on there yet, so
Okay.
we just gotta follow up on that a little bit since the dumpster's been there for a month or 2 months, John, or whatever, not much action put on there, so I think we need to have to start moving and
For the
addressing.
weather.
it, build out.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's-
so yeah, so thank you if you could do that.
Okay, new business. Sup apps?
General fund, attorney's fees, this is for, juvenile probate court, this is for indigent counsel fees. They're asking for $20,000 for the remainder of the year. They're down to roughly $7,000, after the check run, I believe, of this week. So their bills in November were over $24,000, so they're just anticipating a little bit more. We did increase the rate for the attorneys.
75?
I think we went to 70. I think we may have gone to 70
Yeah, that was a little bit of a-
in April, I believe.
yeah.
And so that's probably part of this
And we do get
shortfall.
reimbursed.
We do get reimbursed, and we
Is it
are
90%
reimbursed.
now?
I think it went up to 90.
I think it's
90. It
90%.
went up to 90 until they
And
ran out
I
of
think
money.
then,
So we're,
I think starting with the new fiscal year, state fiscal year, it went to 90%, I
yeah.
believe.
So
I would have to
that
double
was
check that
CCAO.
number.
It used to be 75.
Yeah, and at
So
one
we-
point in time, it was only 42%.
Right, as I said.
So,
So when someone needs an attorney and can't afford to provide the attorney, but the state reimburses us 90% of those costs. And there's a fee schedule, and the judges and everybody's a part of that. And so I think that's working really well. Without that reimbursement, it would be a big number
correct.
to the county. But
Yeah,
with
and we're
that-
required by law to provide counsel
Yes.
for indigent.
And so I think it's working out pretty well. We talk about it every 2 or 3 years because it's hard to get attorneys and the rate to pay them, and then the grants start to whittle away, and then nothing ever seems to. But we'll reset one in the next year with the new budget, CCAO, new legislature. They lobbied for us, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So just to throw that out for the public.
The other requests I have are postage for general fund of $3,000. This is for the actual postage that the county uses. It's just for the remainder of the year. We thought we could get by. We put a SUP app in a couple of months ago, and it's just a little too thin for me. So just in case there's some large mailing. Yeah.
Mail something and they're out.
Yeah, there's no postage.
You'll
so
hear that too.
So we'll just kind of make sure there's money available, and I will say that Cheyenne was the one that caught that when she pays the bills.
Good job,
So
Cheyenne. As you make your daily pilgrimage over to.
yes.
It's nice, you get to leave the office and walk over.
Rain or
and-
shine.
Yeah, well, yeah, right, rain or shine. Bring the snow boots in.
Yeah.
I have a funny post office story for later.
The fiscal year 20 COSAP fund, this was one that we pulled from last week for contract services in the amount of $88,206.67. This again is for administrative fees that date back to, make sure I give you the correct date. October of 2020 through June of 2023. And they're questioning, I believe, Commissioner Schuff, you questioned the grant itself.
Yeah.
It is a reimbursable grant. So basically, the commissioners
That's good.
advanced $10,000 or $15,000 at the very beginning. And then as they spent their money, they request that money back. So they are,
We get reimbursed, so it's I think that was your question, is this a match or 100% reimbursable?
it's reimbursable.
It's reimbursable. So that's
Yes.
good.
So, and they've already requested this $88,000 drawdown and have received that money. It's just a matter of getting it on the books so they can pay the bill.
Thank you.
Then the ambulance service fund for equipment of $20,474.72. This is for a portable ventilator. This helps us kind of get in line with going with Green
Green
Springs.
Springs. We look at the mayor back. So are you serving to the end of the year,
I am,
to the 31st?
I am.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
So is this a little different than, because I know we kicked in on something for the township, that was a,
You kicked in on the compressor
that's what
to
it
fill
was.
the air tanks.
Yep, that's what it was, yep.
And I don't know if you're aware, such a this real quick, but Lynn Love called me about redoing my space. and
Yeah,
we approved it
yeah.
last night, council.
You did
Oh,
prove that last
perfect.
night then? Okay, let him do that.
So you can bring that up if you want to. This,
The space,
yeah, so and the mayor's here, so the village owns the building. The Sankey County's taken over January 1st. We went over, as we're doing, getting prepared to flip the switch January 1st. And internally, we decided we'd like to put a new floor in, paint it, get some new mattresses, kind of clean it up a little bit. And the village is, you gave the okay?
Yep.
Village is good with it, so, John, that's something we'll be, it's, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 or something.
it might be.
Might be, whatever,
Yeah,
but
it's
we
not
want to
gonna
spoof
be-
it up for our people to come in here and start fresh. And so we're doing that, so thank you.
You got a couple guys, I think, that's able to do that work, Adams, but
Some local guys,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
we
right,
get
that's
some
good.
local
Yep,
guys
yep,
and keep
good.
it under, you might not even. Good.
The last sub-app I have is for the County Sewer District Fund for contract services of $800. Again, this was one that was pulled from last week. It's for the 23-24 district. It's for the remaining year contract services, which include their electric, their sewer, their water. I believe that's kind of the majority of, and it just, I think a lot of it is just costs have increased for all of this. So they're just trying to make themselves whole for the end of the year.
yeah, and I talked to Engineer Zimmerman, and he's kind of been really on top of the bills and stuff as they move forward through the transition and stuff
Okay.
like that, so.
Yeah, I think it's going good, the transition. It is. I mean, look, you have to,
Yes,
I mean, it is. I mean, you have to true up and
There's
start
been
over.
a couple bumps in the road, but we're
Yeah, I mean,
working through
there's
them.
bumps, but going forward. it's
Once,
gonna be
yes,
great.
yeah, once
Yeah.
January 1st, it's gonna be, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
That's all I have for
So,
sub-apps.
that was a pause there, I got you.
If there is no discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve the supplemental appropriations as presented.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Frankert,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Boy, just battling those colds, sipping
Yeah,
the tea and the coffee.
it's getting there. Okay, so then I'm on to resolutions. Resolution authorizing fund transfer to be made to the VOCA Grant Fund 2138. in the amount of $10,000. This is being moved from a prior grant fund to the current grant fund because they run on a federal fiscal year.
Refresh me again, bulk up with that again, sorry.
It's victim advocate.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of acronyms.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes about 4 years to learn them all.
I don't know them all either, so I have to look a lot of them up.
But as Mr. Bridewell would say, there's no dumb question, right? Ask the question. What does that stand for? Because, you know, so
There was
that's good.
there was a small little pamphlet or book when I took Shane's office. I mean, it had a lot of
What
the
is that
it
thing?
had a lot of
Wow.
acronyms in it, but didn't have all the local ones, but it had most of the state and federal.
So when we ask each other, none of us know, then we found the good one. That could happen. Okay, so moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Frankert,
Yes.
Mr. Shuff,
Yes.
Mr. Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the agreement with Seneca County General Health District for the 2024 health and medical care services on behalf of the Seneca County Youth Center, effective January 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second. Commissioner Frankert?
Roll call.
Mr. Frankert,
Yes.
Mr. Shuff,
Yes.
Mr. Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution amending Resolution 23-183, certifying unpaid assessments to the county auditor for collection under Ohio Revised Code Section 6117.02, approved August 31st, 2023, due to a Scrivener's error.
So moved.
Second.
So a little discussion,
Yeah.
Scrivener error. I learned what that was like this year
Have a
sometime.
survey.
Yeah, well, so if you record something and there's a modest mistake, you're allowed to correct it.
Correct.
Right, without having everybody sign something new and it's, and I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
you don't
think
have to pass-
Mark Zimmerman told me.
You don't have to pass a brand new
You have to
resolution.
pass a brand new resolution, they just recorded the, you know, it was the, engineer that did it. They
Yeah.
found their mistake, they're allowed to correct it. So, it's great. So, we have a first and a second, let's roll call that
Commissioner Frankert,
resolution.
Yes.
Commissioner Shuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Okay, the last one I have, resolution establishing the Healthy Aging Grant Fund on behalf of the Seneca County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Roll
This is for the Commission on Aging, that we've already give them authorization.
Kind of an in and out.
We have to, because it's a federal fund, we have to
We have to
create a new
receive
fund.
it.
Yeah, we have to receive it and expend it, so.
Because they actually talked about that budget commission morning, because they had put
Yeah.
a line item in for that.
Yeah.
now, So, yeah, so. yep,
Yeah.
yep, good with
Julie caught that one for us, I missed that one, so.
Yeah,
Because it's
no.
federal money, we have to establish a new fund for it. So,
Okay, we have a first and a second, roll call.
Commissioner Frankert,
that. Yes.
Commissioner Shuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes, so before we jump into executive session, Commissioner Franker attended the Budget Commission.
Yes.
And we are in the budget process. We are, the biggest number commissioners look for is the certification of the revenue, the estimated revenue for 2024. That number that we are working with has been consistent now for a couple months, right?
Yes, it's not
And
changed.
It
as
hasn't
far as
changed,
I
so
know.
how did today go?
Yeah, it's not changed.
So we're sliding in the year
Right
end
now, yeah.
with the 21,839 or with some.
Yeah, I
something
don't
like
know,
that
it's something like
number.
that.
Okay, so for public, 3 members of the Budget Commission, the auditor, the treasurer, and the prosecutor, and they certify the budget, the income, they certify the income, which is part of the budget. And that's the Budget Commission's, one of their many duties, so that's good to know. So, but you never know, right? You dig in here and there could be
Could be a
they
tweak
could
or
dial
something
it
at this
back,
point,
or
but
they
yeah,
could
it's
add a
kinda-
little, so,
Yeah.
we're gonna proceed like we are with that.
Oh, and just one other thing
Yeah.
before we go to executive session. I did receive a preliminary number on sales tax to be collected in December. It's just on the non-auto portion of the sales tax. CCAO provided that information, and that portion is down about $9,000.
9,000.
9,000, not 90.
Not 90 or 9,
Just,
right.
yes,
Okay.
$9,000. So,
So it's-
so we may be okay through December with what was certified for sales tax. Fingers crossed.
So, we'll open up the floor to public comment. We will go in executive session. Talk about that in a second. We do not anticipate any action from executive session. Does anyone in the room want to speak? Mr. Bradmore?
I just got a dumb question.
Yes. Try us.
Is a landfill, you mentioned landfill, that's still pending that they want to expand? Is that still
Yes.
on the board? That they
It's still,
want to
the
expand?
EPA is doing all their due diligence. Last thing that they had was last spring, they had kind of their initial hearing on it, and then we've not heard any updates on that. So, yeah,
They're
it's
trying.
Still in the process with EPA hands right now, so.
Okay, thank you.
And that's why we think it's more imperative to get, more oversight stuff out there, because they are still operating underneath the consent order, which is, they're still out of compliance, but it's underneath the consent, so, so they get themselves back out of that.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? So it's,
Make a
clock
motion,
here is 10:54. Go ahead, Commissioner.
make a motion that we go into executive session for the consideration of the purchase of property and collective bargaining matters.
Second,
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Frankert,
yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes. Okay, we're now in executive session, and we'll be back momentarily. It is now 11:23. I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second?
Roll call?
Commissioner Frankert,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes, sorry I didn't add, no action was taken, and meeting adjourned.